Hi, how's it going? My name is Nicholas Adams, and this is my speech for Week 7 of Oral Communication, Section 700, Fall 2025, online. For this speech, I decided to do it on why I'm afraid of skiing and snowboarding. For those of you that don't know, I'm a very athletic person. I travel the country competing in rock climbing. I've surfed in hurricanes before. I hike in the White Mountains almost every month. I have done so much crazy stuff in my life. But the one thing that I'm deathly afraid of is skiing and snowboarding. And it all started in February 18th, 2023, when one of my friends, who I knew very, very well through climbing, he got into a skiing accident in Colorado. And at the time, I didn't think that much of it. I had other friends that I was going climbing with. I was still checking up on him. His recovery was going well. He was still working out his other arm. And skiing in Colorado, they have massive mountains. He was probably doing something very, very hard when he fell and broke his thumb. And I didn't really think that much of it at the time, because accidents happen in all sorts of sports. But it really hit me 6 months later when he was just finally starting to return to climbing. But he still couldn't use his thumb all the way. His thumb was very, very weak and he couldn't use it in climbing for about another 4 months. So in total, it took him about 10 months to get back into climbing. Except by that time, he found other things to do with his time and has since stopped competing in climbing and stopped climbing for pleasure even. And freak injuries happen to everyone. If people get hit by a car, I'm not going to stop walking because of that. But the next thing that happened was on March 25th of that same year of 2023, when one of my very good friends from school, who also climbs from high school, he also broke his wrist while skiing. But this time it was right in Massachusetts, or it was right in New Hampshire. And this was a lot more personal because I knew him, and it was also really bad because he couldn't do any of the work. It was his right wrist that broke, and he was right-handed, so he had a really hard time doing everything, but especially math, because it's hard to write with your non-dominant hand. And he was out for about 6 months. Thankfully, it wasn't a very bad one. He had a cast on, they took it off, and he recovered fine. And 2 injuries, that happens. It's a dangerous sport. But the final straw came on January 13th, 2025, when a friend and I competed in a rock climbing championship event, and we both placed top 10 and moved on to the next round, which was the round before nationals, a month away. And the following week, I texted him and said, hey, if you want to meet up and train in DC or New Jersey, which both have great climbing gyms, I would be happy to drive you, because he lives up in Maine. And one of the other people who I had CC'd on the text said, do you want me to tell him, or should you? And I was really concerned, but I thought I just included the wrong Sam, because I know many, many Sams, and have them just saved as Sam in my phone. I thought I just clicked on the wrong one. And then Sam said, you can. And by that point, I was getting pretty concerned. But then he sent pictures of his x-ray, and that was the most concerning part. His tibia and fibia were both fully broken in half. And he was rushed into surgery, of course. And along his way to recovery, he missed all of those competitions that led up to nationals for not one discipline, not two disciplines, but all 3 disciplines of climbing. And normally that would be bad enough, but along the way, his doctors needed to break his leg 2 more times because it wasn't healing properly. And to this day, his leg's still not fully healed. He still cannot go climbing yet. And he has about a month left before he will be able to. But with all of that said, those 3 reasons are the main reasons why I am deathly afraid of skiing, and why no matter what, I will never go skiing again. Even though I'm totally open for going ice climbing outside with hurricane force winds, but skiing and snowboarding are just 2 things that I'm never doing again.